We kept the Doomsday Clock updated. It didn't change much in our 2 years together. 2 years of black mould pushing its way through fresh cream paint. 2 years of industrial solvent calluses and cigarette butts nestling in the corners of the garden. 2 years of going to bed with all of our clothes on and binge-watching Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, because Gordon Ramsay's rage is the purest expression of rage. We kept the Doomsday Clock updated. Joked about nuclear autumns, where all the leaves turn golden and then to dust, and all the trees are silver birch, freezer burned with the shadows of running bodies. We felt closer to it, emptied Coke cans to fill them with wine, and paid homage to the empty battery compartment of the Doomsday Clock. Dishes piled up like bodies, like dishes, like bodies, like dishes, like bodies, like dishes, like... If you mix porridge, Weetabix, Cocoa Pops and Bran Flakes, add semi-skimmed milk and microwave for 60 seconds on high, you are left with an industrial-grade cement substitute. I learned this from Matthew. In fact, I learned this from Matthew's bowls piled high on the draining board, crusted with mountain ranges and valleys, copses and cave systems. We mostly stayed in the kitchen at parties, leaning with our backs against the said draining board, and I would put on Jonah Louie's "You'll mostly find me in the kitchen at parties," and Matthew would laugh his water down the drain laugh every time, and it was always very validating. I don't think we called him Matthew then. He was Matt, as in doormat, but then there was Claire, who called him Matthew and cleared our draining board of the dishes we piled up like bodies at parties. Claire, who still doesn't drink, and would laugh at us when we could never get ourselves clean. When we could never bring ourselves to scrape away the remnants of copses and cave systems, a cartography of wasted daylight and nail marks from the time he held my hand so tightly and wept, and I promised he'd be okay, because it was either homesickness or her sickness, and she was gone for good, which turned out to be good. Thank you. Last one is entitled, is that cool?
Yeah.
Last one? Cool, yeah. It's entitled Selkie Stories. I don't know if anyone know about the Selkie myth at all. Okay, so it's this like a big set of folk tales about a man who finds a woman and she's like washed up on the beach and she's like incredibly beautiful, but like alongside her he also finds this kind of like big sealskin coat, and they fall in love and they get married, but then like she becomes more and more and more distant, and then she eventually finds the coat and runs away from him, and it turns out she was a seal the whole time. They're pretty, so, like some of the Selkie myths are really sick, but that's essentially the gist of all of them, and this is a poem called Selkie Stories. When we met, I was pretty down. I was prolifically churning out poems called things like nihilism, and apart from your parents, no one really thinks you turned out that great. And my personal favourite, why does nobody love me? I had just slammed my poorly written heart out all over the stage when I caught your eye in the crowd and felt that same heart contract. I smiled, and you smiled back. I stood next to you at the bar, and it took me 2 beers just to talk to you, but when I did, I spilled out rhyme schemes and expositions, and I danced with my hands. And you told me you could tell that I wrote with my left because of a little indent on my index finger. My friend saw this, pulled me away and said, "Boy, she's doing a master's in English Lit. She only wants you for your poetry." I pushed him aside and said, "Nah, man, she's in it for the pretty face." We spent weeks basking in each other's words. She sewed me a suit of synonyms and I drew murals on her walls on free verse. We ate multi-syllable cereal and drank colloquialisms until we were both fucking smashed. But we got happy, and my mouth dried up. Blank pages in notebooks stayed empty, and I would sink into the silences of her smiles. Like all Selkie stories, she longed for the sea of stanzas she had come from. I was a desert of compliments, and the skin she lost when she met me meant she kept getting burnt. The cadence of everyday doings wasn't enough. I could smell the salt in the sweat of men in front of microphones. All she ever cared about was that I was making stacks of neatly printed Word documents, her font of choice Helvetica. I saw her once, on the arm of a girl who could write when she was happy. That woman was a laden storm cloud, and the best that I have ever done is poke holes in the lids of jam jars to simulate the rain. So I caused a drought in a string of dive bars, left an arid path of thirsty riverbeds and repeat plays of Johnny Cash records until my jukebox privileges were revoked and all my sorrows drowned. When you left, I was pretty down. Thank you.